Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. This is NWSmallBatchBrewing, and I will explain this janky setup here in just a second. I wanted to get two different views for you today, and I don't have, a huge budget. I'm sort of running things on a shoestring here. So you can see my beautiful tripod of beans taped down with another camera. I only showed that so you could see a little bit of behind the scenes, that not everything that you see on YouTube is always, super amazing. Sometimes it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Anyway, while I pour my beer here and get ready, by the way, this is a beer that I found, it's a Spain beer. It's from the Estrella line of beers that they have in Spain. I didn't realize when I bought it, this is the Dura, or Daura, I guess. It has something on it that says it's mostly gluten-free, but it's actually not too bad, and it isn't actually gluten-free, so I don't really know officially what it's trying to do to me here, but as far as that goes. All right, so where are we going with this video? So actually, you know what, before I start, don't let me forget, this channel is all about brewing, beer, homebrew, and if you want to help support that, the best thing you can do is look down and click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every time I put out a new video, and it is the best way to help support my channel. So now I can get started. I bought a Kegerator, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And I bought one that was pre-built because, let's be honest, I'm really not super handy with building stuff. And so it was better for me just to buy one pre-made. But apparently what it comes with is a really cheap tap handle, or tap system. And it works fine, but it's called, I believe, a rear-facing or rear-sealing tap, which is considered, cheap because it seals the beer at the far end closer to the tower. So you end up with beer that could be left over in the actual spout that could get dry and gross, and it doesn't stay as cold. And anyway, so I kept reading about how you really need a forward sealing, tap for your Kegerator. So, and they're not that cheap. And I finally decided to pull the trigger, and here's why. I like to bottle a couple of beers off my tap to give to friends to test, but not a lot. I don't do a lot of bottling, so I just need to be able to bottle a few. And it's really a pain in the butt, in my opinion, to have to constantly fiddle with the pressure and the CO2 to get it to pour with the least amount of foam out of the Kegerator. So I thought I'll get a flow control. I'll get a NukaTap, because I've been thinking about it, forward sealing with a flow control, and my problems will be solved. Okay, so not so much. So what I have right here is the tap that I bought. I used it for a month. And then I went to take it apart when I switched my keg a few days ago, because it needed to be cleaned, and because you probably can't see it yet, but I'll switch camera angles in a minute. There's a spring that I did not have that's a separate purchase for some reason, and I decided to go ahead and buy the spring so that I could have the tap handle snap back. That way it doesn't get stuck in an open position and your beer pours out all over the floor. Anyway, so I decided either way I'm taking this thing apart. It needs to be cleaned, because despite the claim that it would not get as much beer and stuff stuck in it, I beg to differ. It was worse, actually, than my rear sealing. So anyway, I'm taking it apart. I've done this a lot of times with my other tap, and I got to this point. Well, here, let me switch. I'm going to switch camera angles. This is super high tech, right? There we go. I know, it's not great, but so I'm taking it apart. And, the parts that are easy to take apart are the part on top here and everything. Here, I'll use my little handy dandy pointer. It's actually a snuffer. Anyway, you know, this part, this nozzle just unscrews. That's super easy. Basically, I'm going to turn it just for a second so you can kind of get an idea here better. It goes more like this, right? You've got your flow control right here on the side. That's where the spout would go, right here. And then the handle, right, would be up straight up and down here. So the problem is what's inside, which is down here in the bottom. So you have something called the shuttle. That's this thing right here. This actually sits sort of, let's see, there's a hole in the top, if you can see that or not. There is a hole. That would sit like right here inside of it so that it can be the tap. This piece right here would actually be in here like this, and you can move it back and forth, right? Okay, so that part's fine. That part's like right in there, right? Now, if you have the spring would come next, and the spring would go like right here against the back side of this little torpedo thing. The next piece is this plastic sleeve. Now, my dilemma was I was trying to get this shuttle out of here so I could clean it, and it wouldn't come out no matter how much I tried to push on it. Now remember, this is curved on the end, so you can't just easily push something up in there to try to force it. So I stuck my finger in, you know, this, and it just seemed like there's no way that this shuttle's going to come out because this plastic piece is blocking the way. This sleeve. Now there is a hole on the sleeve that goes toward, let's see if I can show you, there's the, I don't know if you can see the hole in the camera, but it goes towards the side that has this, because this goes in it, right? This little piece goes in there, goes in. Anyway, I know it's hard to show on camera, but that's the reason I wanted to make this video, is there's really no YouTube videos about this. So there's also, I don't know if you can see this, maybe if I hold it up to the camera, but there's a ridge around this thing that holds a washer. Here's the problem. So when I was trying to get this out, I was trying to get it out. What I finally did was I was able to take my curved wrench for my tap and slide it in and kind of get it under this hole here and be able to sort of pull it out. It was not easy to get out at all. It's kind of tapered, and in fact I can see a little spot where I dented it trying to get it out. I don't know if it was stuck in there because it wasn't lubricated, or if, you know, I just don't know if there's some easier way to get it in and out, but it just did not want to come out for nothing. It was not easy, and I had to soak it for like 4 hours before I could even get it to come out. So I popped that out, and by the way, this piece down here goes on the end. This one comes out easily. This is part of the flow control, I think. Anyway, so it finally comes out, and this piece that has a rubber ring, like an O-ring, the O-ring broke. I don't know if you can see it. I could take it out of the bag here. But basically, there's this rubber ring that looks like this, and you can even see, right? You can see it broke. So now I have a broken ring, O-ring that's no good, all right? And there's another problem. Up here where the tap handle goes in, like this piece, it has this plastic piece in there, right? Like another ring. What happened? This one popped out, and guess what? I'm trying to see where it is. There it is. I don't know if you can see this on camera. I'll try to pull it apart just a little bit. So you can see this has cracked right in half on that side. So here's the problem. This is only a month old, this tap. It's already a month old, and let me switch cameras here. It's only a month old, and it already has 2 washers that are broken. One of them probably broke when I was trying to pull the sleeve out to clean, and the other one was broken already. Like as soon as I opened the tap, it was already snapped, and it's like a hard plastic. This isn't even like silicone. Apparently, Kegerator is saying that this is like a, I don't know. They say it's a better type of washer, but not if it breaks. Not if it breaks in a month. So here's the problem. The only place I can really find replacement, like, you know, O-rings and stuff for this particular tap is at NWSmallBatchBrewing, because NWSmallBatchBrewing is a distributor for the company that makes these taps. NukaTap is made by a company in Australia called Kegerator. So unless you live in Australia, if you buy the NukaTap, you're stuck buying the parts for it that you need from More Beer, and you have to pay a high shipping cost for them, even when it's a tiny item. They have like a blanket shipping cost no matter what weight the item is that you get from More Beer. So I ended up buying 2 replacement packages that haven't arrived yet with gaskets. One of them comes with a replacement like plastic sleeve. Anyway, my PSA here is that if I had to do this again, I probably wouldn't get the NukaTap. Not so much because of the tap. I mean, I've had really good luck with other Kegland products, but this really has me kind of, doubting Kegland in a way. And so I would suggest if you're going to get a forward sealing faucet, maybe look at I'll put it in the description. There's another one, Perlick, I think it's called, right? Perlick, which I have to double check this. I haven't researched it, but I think Perlick is made here in the U.S. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe the parts are easier to get. This one's frustrating because you can only get it from More Beer, and it's expensive to replace these parts. And then you wonder, well, maybe I shouldn't take it apart and clean it that often, except unless I'm purposely going to replace the washers. So I don't know. But pretty disappointed, to be honest with you. Last thing, I know I'm running late or long on this video, but the flow control, if you're going to get one of these taps, I would recommend a forward sealing tap. Omit the flow control. You can buy them without the flow control. It just doesn't do what you need it to do. The flow control on it is janky. It really barely does anything. Certainly cannot be used to help fill bottles. I find it to be a nuisance, actually, because you have to find the right spot for it to get the best pour on your beer. And it really, yeah, I just find it to be janky, and it doesn't work very well. And I think there's other videos. I think David Heath put out a video on some reviews on this stuff on using flow control on your tap, and it just is not a great system. Anyway, sorry to run through that so fast, but I hope you found that helpful or interesting, especially since there's nothing on YouTube that really shows how to take apart and put together one of these NukaTaps with the flow control. There's videos without the flow control, but this little plastic sleeve is removable, but be prepared to have to replace the washer. That's probably going to break when you try to remove it. So there you go. I hope that helps if you're considering getting one of these kinds of taps, and gives you some ideas to look around and research before you buy it. As always, thank you for stopping by and watching my video. I appreciate it. Remember, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps support my channel. And I hope that you are brewing something good. I'll see you soon. I'll be back in a week with another video. And until then, happy brewing. Cheers.